The power of not giving up. The secret to success. Have you ever felt like giving up? Like you've tried everything, but nothing seems to work? If you have, you're not alone. Almost everyone who has ever done something great has felt the same way at some point. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's something much simpler. They keep going. Success isn't always about making big leaps or doing something extraordinary. Sometimes, it's just about holding on when others let go. It's about taking one more step, even when you feel like stopping. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, once said, "Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave up." Think about that. How many people quit just before their big breakthrough? How many dreams are left unfinished because someone decided it wasn't worth it? Today, I want to share why you should never give up and how you can push through the toughest moments of your life. The power of perspective. Seeing what others don't. Success isn't just about hard work. It's about seeing what others can't see. It's about believing in yourself when no one else does. It's about taking that little picture in your mind, the dream you have, and turning it into reality. But here's the truth. Progress doesn't always feel big. Some days, you'll feel the momentum. You'll feel like you're winning. Other days, it'll feel like nothing is changing. And sometimes, you'll even feel like you're moving backward. But that's just part of the journey. Imagine a person digging for gold. They dig, and after days of work, they find nothing. Tired and frustrated, they give up and walk away. But if they had just dug one more foot, they would have struck gold. Most people quit right before they succeed. So what's the lesson? You don't fail when you struggle. You fail when you stop. The little rocks that make a mountain. People often look at their goals and feel overwhelmed. They see a huge mountain in front of them and think, "That's impossible. I'll never get there." But here's what they forget. That mountain isn't one big rock. It's made of millions of little rocks. Success works the same way. You don't have to climb the whole mountain at once. You don't have to take a giant leap. All you have to do is take the next small step. It's just like walking, one step at a time. And as long as you keep moving, you'll get there. Failure is not the end. I've been there. I know what it's like to feel like a failure. I've worked hard on things that nobody cared about. I've invested time and effort into dreams that fell apart. I've failed. A lot. And every time, it felt like the end of the world. But here's what I learned. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every failure teaches you something. Every mistake makes you stronger. Think about a baby learning to walk. They fall hundreds of times before they take their first steps, but they don't stop trying. What if they thought, "Well, I fell again. I guess walking just isn't for me." That would be crazy, right? But that's exactly what we do as adults. We try something, we fail, and we convince ourselves that we're not meant for it. Don't do that. If you fall, get up. If you fail, learn. Because every time you get back up, you're closer than you were before. Finding light in the darkness. Life isn't always easy. There will be moments when everything feels too much. But in those moments, you have a choice. You can focus on what you've lost, or you can focus on what you can gain. Think about the hardest thing you've ever been through. At the time, it probably felt impossible. It probably felt like it would break you. But look at you now. You survived. Not only that, but you're stronger because of it. Every loss makes you tougher. Every heartbreak teaches you something. Every challenge builds you into the person you're meant to be. So when life knocks you down, remember, you're not breaking. You're growing. Are you living or just existing? Every morning, I ask myself a simple question. Am I living today like it's an obligation or like it's an opportunity? A lot of people go through life just existing. They wake up, go to work, come home, and do the same thing over and over again. But life isn't meant to be a routine. You weren't born to just pay bills and die. You were born to create, to explore, to live. So ask yourself, are you just floating through life, or are you in control? Because the truth is, you are the driver of your life. If you don't like where you're going, you can change direction. If you're stuck, you can take a different road. If you don't like your story, you can rewrite it. You are not trapped. You are not powerless. The only limits in life are the ones you accept. It's time to take action. Now, here's the final question. What are you going to do with this message? You can listen, nod your head, and feel motivated for a moment, or you can take action. If you have a dream, start working on it. If you feel stuck, take one small step forward. If you're struggling, keep going, because your story isn't over yet. And one day, you'll look back and be so grateful that when others were stopped, you didn't. Keep going. The power of not giving up. Introduction. The hidden power inside you. Think back to a time when you felt stuck. A time when you looked around and thought, why isn't this working? Why am I not where I want to be? Maybe it was last week. Maybe it was this morning. Maybe it's right now. Here's what I want you to know. Where you are right now is not the end of your story. It's just a chapter. Every person you admire, every successful entrepreneur, every athlete, every leader has been where you are. They have felt like quitting. They have faced self-doubt. The only difference? They kept going. That's the secret. It's not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about not stopping when everything inside you says, give up. And I know what you're thinking. That sounds great, but how do I actually do it? How do I push through when life feels impossible? That's what we're going to talk about today. The illusion of stuck. You're moving, even when it doesn't feel like it. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. It's exhausting. Your legs are burning. Sweat is dripping down your face, and every step feels harder than the last. Then suddenly you stop, you look over your shoulder, and you see something that you hadn't noticed before. The distance between where you are and where you started. It wasn't sudden. It wasn't obvious. But you have moved forward. This is how progress works. It doesn't feel big in the moment. It doesn't feel dramatic. But one day, you'll wake up and realize you're in a completely different place than where you started. So here's my challenge to you. Stop focusing only on how far you have to go. Start appreciating how far you've come. You're already in motion. Keep going. Every small victory matters. The power of tiny wins. Most people think success is one big moment, that one big break, that one perfect opportunity. But that's not how it works. Success is millions of small moments stacked on top of each other. Waking up and choosing to try again. Writing one more page. Making one more phone call. Showing up even when you don't feel like it. That's what creates success. Think about an Olympic athlete. When they win a gold medal, the world sees one race. But what they don't see is the thousands of mornings they woke up before the sun to train. They don't see the years of small, invisible victories that made that gold medal possible. You have those moments too. And every single small win, it matters. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Let me tell you something crazy. Most people fail their way to success. Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school team. Walt Disney, he was fired from a newspaper because they said he lacked creativity. J.K. Rowling, before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, 12 publishers rejected her book. If these people had stopped at failure, we wouldn't even know their names. But they didn't stop, and neither should you. Failure isn't a stop sign. It's a stepping stone. The staircase of growth. Why every step matters. I want you to picture staircase. At the bottom is where you started. At the top is the life you dream of. Each step is a challenge. At first, they seem impossible. You take the first step, and it feels overwhelming. But after a while, that step doesn't feel hard anymore. It becomes your new normal. That's growth. That's progress. But here's the hard part. Every time you get comfortable, life pushes you to climb the next step. And that's where most people stop. They look at the next step and think, this is too hard. I can't do this. But let me tell you something. The version of you that stands at the bottom of the staircase isn't the same person who will stand at the top. The person at the top, they're stronger. They're wiser. They've been through the fire and came out tougher. And the only way to become that person, keep climbing. The day I almost gave up and what it taught me. Let me get personal with you. The other day I had a plan. 3 things I had to do. I wrote them on my whiteboard. I was ready. But then, life happened. Distractions. Unexpected problems. One thing after another. By the end of the day, I looked at that whiteboard and saw 0 check marks. I felt like a failure. Then, I got a call from a friend. I told them about my day, expecting them to say something motivational. But instead, they just laughed. They said, "You think one bad day erases everything you've done? You think today defines you? No way. Get up and try again." And they were right, because one bad day, it means nothing in the grand scheme of your life. If you fall, get back up. If you fail, try again, because the only way you truly fail is if you stop. Are you ready to take the leap? Now, I want to ask you a question. Are you at a turning point? Are you staring at the next big step in your life? Feeling scared to take it? Because let me tell you the truth. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to start. And I know it's scary. Growth is uncomfortable. But one day, you'll look back and realize the thing that once terrified you, it became your new normal. So don't stop now. Don't turn back. Don't let fear win. Because your future self, they're counting on you. Final words, it's your time. As you walk away from this, I want you to remember one thing. You are stronger than you think. You are capable of more than you imagine. And if you just keep going one day, you'll look back and realize, a new day, a new you. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that everything in your life, the way you feel, the way you live, the opportunities you have, is a result of the choices you've made up until now. That's a tough thought, isn't it? But here's the good news. Just as your past decisions have shaped today, the choices you make today will shape your future. So let me ask you, what if today you made just one decision that could change everything? Not a huge, overwhelming change, just one step forward. Because one step, when followed by another, becomes a road that leads to the life you dream of. You are the key. I need you to hear this. You already have what it takes. That future you want, it's not bigger than you. It is you. It's already inside you, waiting for you to believe in it. Someone once told me, the world won't believe it until you do. So believe. Believe like your life depends on it, because it does. Every dream, every goal, every possibility exists in your mind until you breathe life into it. Look around. Your current reality, it's just a reflection of the choices you've made. And guess what? You can change it. You can level up. But first, you have to give yourself permission to be that person. The one who dares to rise. Small steps, big impact. We often think change has to be big, dramatic, life-altering. But real change? It starts small. Think about it. A single push-up today could lead to a fit, strong body a year from now. A single sentence written today could become a best-selling book. A single dollar saved could grow into financial freedom. Small moves matter because they build momentum. And momentum, that's the secret. That's what makes people unstoppable. The power of action. Can life change in a day? Yes, but only if you take action. What if today you made a deal with yourself? What if you promise that before this day is over, you'll take one bold step? Maybe it's making that phone call you've been avoiding. Maybe it's applying for that job. Maybe it's finally starting that workout plan. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be something. Because once you take that first step, you're no longer stuck. You're moving. And movement creates energy, confidence, and progress. The magic of momentum. It's easy to forget how good progress feels. How incredible it is to know you're building something that matters. Remember this. We are happiest when we are growing. That's why we chase dreams. That's why we set goals. Not just achieve them, but because the journey makes us feel alive. We weren't meant to stay in the same place. We are explorers, creators, and architects of our own destiny. So when you feel stuck, when doubt creeps in, don't shrink back. Push forward. Keep building. Keep moving. Because nothing is more painful than looking back and realizing you could have been so much more. The trap of comfort. Here's the truth. Most people never step into the life they want because they think they need some huge, dramatic breakthrough. But they don't. They just need to decide. One decision. That's all. Because life doesn't change in some massive explosion. It changes in tiny shifts, small moments of courage that add up. And here's the kicker. Most decisions, they're reversible. You can adjust. You can pivot. You can start again. But the only bad decision, not making one at all. Your greatest opponent is you. You might think your biggest challenge is money or time or lack of opportunity. But your real battle, it's you versus you. Because the world can throw obstacles in your path. But only you can decide to stop. Think about it. The job rejection doesn't stop you. You stop you. The failure doesn't stop you. You stop you. The fear doesn't stop you. You stop you. So what if today you stop standing in your own way? What if you became your own greatest ally instead of your worst enemy? The choice is yours. I recently read something that hit me hard. It was a story from Will Smith's book about his mother. One day, his father hit her so hard, she fell to the ground. But when she got up, she said, "You can hit me, but you can't hurt me." And that was the moment Will Smith understood. The outside world can throw anything at us, but only we decide how it shapes us. That's power. That's freedom. Because life isn't about what happens to you. It's about how you respond. So when life knocks you down, and it will you stay down? Or will you stand back up and say, "You can't hurt me. I decide my future." The only question that matters. Every challenge, every struggle, every setback comes with a question attached. What does this mean? And only you can answer that. Is this challenge a reason to quit? Or is it proof that you're ready for the next level? Is this failure a dead end? Or is it a lesson that makes you stronger? Every time life tests you, you get to decide, does this break me? Or does it make me? Final challenge. Open the door. So here's my challenge to you. Pick your arena and step into it. Not tomorrow. Today. Not when you feel ready. Now. You don't have to be the best. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to start. Because the second you do, the game changes. The wheels start turning. And the life you want stops being some distant dream and starts becoming your reality. So are you ready? Are you ready to take one step today that changes everything? If you are, then let's go. Because this is your life, your moment, and your decision. Let's make it count. Core message of your script. Your script explores the power of actions in shaping a person's identity, challenging the belief that thoughts alone define us. It introduces a thought experiment about a man who believes he is kind but never shows kindness. This contradiction leads to the realization that identity is defined by what we do, not just what we think. The script then extends this idea to broader concepts like confidence, success, and personal growth, emphasizing that true transformation requires action. Key areas for improvement. 1. Make it more relatable. Use real-life examples from everyday U.S. life. 2. Make it more engaging. Use storytelling, analogies, and an emotional hook. 3. Make it actionable. Add a strong call to action so the audience can apply immediately. 4. Simplify the language. Keep at a 4th grade level while maintaining depth. Now, here's your transformed script. Title: You are what you do, not what you think. Imagine this. You're walking down the street, and you see a homeless man shivering in the cold. You want to help. You think about giving him your extra jacket. You consider buying him a warm meal. But then you walk away. Let me ask you, are you a kind person? You thought about kindness. But did you do it? This is where most people get it wrong. They believe their identity is built by their thoughts. I'm a good person because I think good thoughts. I'm confident because I believe in myself. I'm a writer because I want to write. But here's the truth. You are not what you think. You are what you do. Who are you, really? Let's test this theory. Meet John. John tells everyone he's a hard-working guy. He believes in discipline. He knows success comes from effort. But when he wakes up, he hits snooze 5 times, scrolls social media for an hour, then watches Netflix all day. So, is John a hard-working guy? No. John is not defined by what's in his head. He is defined by his actions. And his actions tell the world, John is lazy. The confidence myth. People always say, I'll take action once I feel confident. But that's backward. Confidence doesn't come first. Action does. Think about a kid learning to swim. He stands by the pool, afraid to jump in. If he waits until he feels confident, he'll stand there forever. But the moment he takes the leap, boom, confidence begins. You don't think your way into confidence. You act your way into it. The future you, illusion. A lot of people live with this fantasy of their future self. They say, future me will eat healthy and work out. Future me will read more books. Future me will start that business. But guess what? Future you doesn't exist. There's only present you right now in this moment. And present you is either taking action or making excuses. You are your habits. Let's make this even clearer. A runner is not someone who wants to run. A runner is someone who runs. A kind person is not someone who thinks about kindness. A kind person acts with kindness. A leader is not someone who believes they have leadership potential. A leader leads. Your habits define you, not your intentions. The key to changing your life. If you want to change who you are, don't sit around thinking about it. Start acting like the person you want to become. Want to be a writer? Write every day. Want to be fit? Move your body. Want to be confident? Take action, even while afraid. Because at the end of the day, you are not what you think. You are not what you want. You are not what you say. You are what you do. Why this works better. White heavy checkmark simpler and more relatable. Uses everyday situations people can connect with. White heavy checkmark more engaging. Uses a storytelling approach, making it feel real. White heavy checkmark more actionable. Ends with a clear call to action. White heavy checkmark stronger impact. Repeats the key message powerfully. What do you think? Do you want me to tweak anything further? 1. Adding a strong hook at the beginning. We want to grab attention immediately. Instead of starting with imagine this, we could try option 1. If I asked you who you are, you'd probably tell me your name, maybe your job, maybe your beliefs. But what if I told you none of that actually defines you? Option 2. Most people live their whole lives believing a lie. They think they are their thoughts, their intentions, their dreams. But here's the truth. None of that matters. Only one thing does: what you do. A strong opening like this makes the audience curious. 2. Making the call to action even stronger. The last few lines are already solid, but we could push them further. Option 1. If you want to change your life, stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting to feel ready. Just start, because in the end, the world doesn't care what you think. It only sees what you do. Option 2. Right now, you have a choice. You can walk away from this video and keep living as you always have. Or you can take one action, just one, that proves who you really are. Which one will you choose? Final steps. Now, you just need to heavy checkmark record the voiceover or use AI. Heavy checkmark add engaging visuals and text to reinforce key points. Heavy checkmark use emotional music to enhance the impact. The power of focus. How to take control of your life. Don't touch that phone. No, seriously, put it down. In fact, go a step further. Turn it off, put it in another room, and give yourself a moment to just think. Think about this. When was the last time you sat alone with your thoughts? No notifications, no background music, no scrolling, just you and your mind. We live in a world that demands focus, but is designed to steal it from us. It's like being asked to run a marathon while people keep throwing obstacles in your way. And the worst part? We don't even notice. We laugh at our screen time, joke about how addicted we are to our phones. But deep down, we know it's not really funny. The truth? Distraction is stealing your future. The hidden cost of distraction. Imagine you have a goal, a dream you've always wanted to chase. Maybe it's starting a business, writing a book, getting in the best shape of your life. But instead of making progress, you find yourself stuck in the same place, month after month, year after year. Why? Because every time you could be working on you, you're letting the world pull you in 100 different directions. Every notification, every viral video, every unnecessary email, it's stealing from you. It's like trying to fill a glass of water, but there's a hole in the bottom. No matter how much effort you put in, it all leaks out. So let's fix it. Let's take control. Reclaiming your mind. Here's a challenge. Give yourself 15 minutes of silence every day. No phone, no music, just a walk outside, sitting in a quiet room, or staring at the sky. At first, it'll feel weird. Your brain will crave something to do. But then, something amazing happens. You start to hear your own thoughts again. You start to think for yourself. You'll remember dreams you've pushed aside. Ideas will come to you. Clarity will replace confusion. You will start to take back control. The power of solitude. Great ideas don't happen in chaos. They happen in silence. Think about some of the greatest minds in history. Albert Einstein, Steve Jobs, Martin Luther King Jr. They all had one thing in common. They knew how to be alone with their thoughts. Einstein would take long walks, letting his mind wander. Jobs would go on silent retreats. King wrote some of his most powerful speeches in solitude. And yet, today, we act like being alone is a bad thing. We fear it. We run from it. But what if solitude isn't the enemy? What if it's the key? The mind is like a muscle. Think of your brain like a muscle. If you don't train it, it gets weak. If you always take the easy route, endless scrolling, constant stimulation, you lose the ability to think deeply. But if you push yourself, if you create space for thinking, if you learn to focus, your mind gets stronger. And when your mind is strong, nothing can stop you. You become the type of person who stays calm under pressure, who can figure out solutions when everyone else is lost, who creates, instead of just consuming, the truth about success. Success isn't about luck. It's not about talent. It's about what you do when no one is watching. It's about how many hours you spend focused on your craft, how often you push past boredom and stay committed to your vision. Because here's the truth. Most people give up when things get hard. They try something new, hit a roadblock, and immediately look for distractions, scrolling, binge watching, anything to avoid the discomfort of deep work. But the people who win, they do the opposite. They sit with the discomfort. They push through. They train their minds to focus, even when they don't feel like it. And that's what sets them apart. The iceberg of success. Imagine an iceberg. The tip is what people see. Fame, money, recognition. But what's underneath? Years of work, hours of focus, thousands of small decisions that no one ever saw. So when you feel overlooked, when you don't get the promotion, when your work isn't recognized, remember, you're just building your foundation. You're laying the bricks for something incredible. Don't stop now. Final challenge. Take back your time. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Your time is your most valuable resource. Protect it. Spend 15 minutes a day in silence. Start small, maybe reading a book instead of scrolling before bed. Ask yourself, is this distraction helping me or hurting me? Because at the end of the day, this is your life. You get to decide if you'll let distractions run it, or if you'll take control. The choice is yours. You know, sometimes inspiration doesn't just show up. It's not always going to knock on your door. Sometimes you have to go out there and find it. And when life feels like it's beating you down, when the road ahead feels longer than you can stand, that's when you need to remind yourself. It's not about waiting for inspiration to find you. It's about creating it. Life's tough moments, they're not just random setbacks. They're chances. Chances for you to change, to grow, to build a life that's better than what you're settling for. It's when you're at your lowest that you find your true strength, because that's when you're forced to look inside and say, I don't want to live like this anymore. The first step, recognizing what you don't want. Let's start there, recognizing what you don't want. It might sound strange, but often knowing what you don't want is the best way to figure out what you do want. Imagine this. You've been in a job you hate, in a situation that drains you. The feeling inside you tells you something's not right. And that's your sign. The first step is already happening because you've recognized that there's more out there waiting for you. You might not know exactly what your next steps will look like. And that's okay. You don't need to know every single step. Even the greatest success stories didn't start with a perfect roadmap. Think of it like a road trip. If you wait until you can see the whole journey, you might never leave. But once you start driving, the next exit becomes clear. So, what if you don't have the whole plan yet? Here's what you need. The feeling in your gut that tells you there's more for you out there. That is enough to start. Breaking free from scarcity. The thing is, we're often taught to live in scarcity. We focus on what's missing, what we don't have. And this mindset can trap us. But what if we change the lens? What if we started seeing the abundance in front of us? The opportunities, the possibilities, the power to change. Because you're surrounded by abundance, but it's up to you to see it. Let go of that scarcity mindset and train your eyes to spot opportunities that are all around you. The Tiger Woods moment. I remember watching an interview with Tiger Woods. Now, I'm not a huge golf fan, but when someone like Tiger talks, you listen. His career? It's been a roller coaster. Family struggles, injuries, and even a car accident. But you know what? He didn't give up. In one interview, they asked him about a performance during the Masters. He made the cut. He survived the first day, but it wasn't his best performance. And you know what he said? He said, "Things aren't the way I'd like them to feel, but I've given myself a chance." Think about that. The man has gone through a ton, and yet he sees this moment as an opportunity, not as a failure, but as a chance to keep moving forward. His past doesn't define him. It's just the road that got him here. That's how you should look at your past. 2. Your past struggles, the pain, the setbacks, they don't define you either. They brought you here, and here is exactly where you need to be. You've already made it through your toughest moments. You've made the cut. Now, it's time to play in the game of life. The power of having a chance. Too often, we focus on what's missing in our lives. We see the gaps, the spaces where things are empty. But the real magic comes when you realize that you've created an opportunity for change. You've already made it this far, and now you have the flexibility to pivot, to try new things, to build a life you really want. Life doesn't always feel perfect. We all have our rough patches. But those tough times, they're gifts. They're life's way of giving you a chance to reset, to grow, and to see things differently. Every struggle you've been through, every mistake, every fall, it's given you something you didn't have before. A chance to rise. The curveballs, turning setbacks into comebacks. When life throws you curveballs, don't just see them as problems. See them as opportunities. Step up to the plate and take a swing. You have the power to turn what feels like misfortune into your biggest opportunity yet. What's happening is happening for you, not to you. Imagine this. You've lost your job, your relationship fell apart, your dreams feel shattered. But what if that's just life nudging you in a new direction? What if all the things you thought were setbacks are actually stepping stones to something greater? When you trade, "Why is this happening to me?" for "What can I learn from this?" you start seeing the world in a whole new way. The thing you thought would hold you back becomes the very thing that pushes you forward. Rising from the ashes. Take a moment and look back at your life. You've been through a lot. You've faced challenges that felt impossible. But here you are. You've made it this far. Your lows have shaped you. Your highs have fueled you. And now it's time to rise again. It's time to write a new chapter, walk a new path, and create a life that's bigger than you ever imagined. The road ahead might be uncertain, but that's okay. What matters is that you decided to keep going. You chose to rise. Conclusion, embrace your journey. So, wherever you're going next, let it unfold naturally. Life doesn't always go the way you expect, but that's the beauty of it. The highs and lows, the successes and failures, have all come together to make you who you are today. And that person is strong, resilient, and ready for whatever comes next. Don't fear the unknown. Don't fear the setbacks. Embrace them, because each step you take, each decision you make, is leading you toward the life you're meant to live. The journey's just beginning. Are you ready to take the next step? The power of a fresh start. Right now, in this moment, you have something priceless in your hands. A chance, a fresh start. Maybe you don't even realize it yet, but this second, this breath, is the beginning of something new. You've been through struggles. You faced moments where you felt lost, confused, or stuck in place. But look at you, you're still here. And that means the story isn't over. Too many people spend their lives waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity, the perfect conditions. But guess what? There is no perfect moment. The only thing that matters is what you choose to do right now. So today, we're going to break that cycle. No more waiting. No more feeling stuck. Today is the day you decide to take control. Part 1. The truth about change. Change is hard. It's uncomfortable. That's why most people avoid it. But the truth is, nothing changes until you do. Think about it. If you want something different, you have to do something different. You can't live the same day over and over and expect a new result. That's not how success works. That's not how happiness works. Imagine you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to the same struggles, the same doubts, the same frustrations. The other? It's unknown. It's scary, but it's also full of possibility. Which road will you take? The people who change their lives aren't the ones who wait. They're the ones who step into the unknown and trust that they'll find their way. Part 2. Your struggles have prepared you. You've been through tough times. You've had days where you wanted to give up. But every challenge, every setback, every tear you've shed, it wasn't for nothing. Think about a diamond. Do you know how it's made? Through pressure. The hardest, most valuable stone in the world starts as something ordinary. But under intense pressure, it transforms into something priceless. And so do you. Maybe life has tested you. Maybe it's pushed you to your limits. But that pressure, that pain, it's turning you into something stronger. The question is, will you let your past define you, or will you use it as fuel? Because your story isn't over yet, and the best chapters are still ahead. Part 3. The power of one decision. Let's talk about Michael Jordan for a second. People see him as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But what they don't always see is the story behind it. Did you know he was cut from his high school basketball team? Think about that. The guy who would go on to win 6 NBA championships was told he wasn't good enough. But he didn't let that stop him. He made a decision to work harder than ever, to show up every single day, to refuse to accept failure. And that one decision changed everything. Your life is shaped by decisions. Not the big, dramatic ones, but the small ones. The choice to get up early instead of sleeping in. The choice to keep going when things get hard. The choice to believe in yourself even when no one else does. So what will you decide today? Part 4. Stop waiting for permission. Too many people spend their lives waiting. Waiting for someone to tell them they're good enough. Waiting for the right time. Waiting for a sign. But let me tell you something. Nobody is coming to save you. If you want something, you have to go after it. If you want change, you have to make it happen. Oprah Winfrey was fired from her first job in television. They told her she wasn't good enough for TV. Can you imagine if she had believed them? The people who succeed aren't the ones who wait for permission. They're the ones who decide right now that they are worthy. And guess what? You are worthy. Part 5. The secret to success? Keep moving. Let's make one thing clear. Success is not about talent. It's not about luck. It's about one simple rule. Keep moving. Think about a shark. If a shark stops swimming, it dies. It has to keep moving forward to survive. And the same goes for you. You don't have to be the smartest. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to keep going. You're going to have bad days. You're going to fail. But failure isn't the opposite of success. It's part of it. Every successful person you admire has failed. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple. Walt Disney was told he lacked imagination. But they didn't stop. And neither should you. Part 6. Make today amazing. There's a picture frame that says, "Make today amazing." It sits on a desk as a reminder. Life is a choice. You can choose to stay the same. Or you can choose to rise. You can choose to let fear win. Or you can choose to push through. This isn't just another day. This is your life. And what you do with it is up to you. No more waiting. No more excuses. The world is waiting for you to step up. So go ahead, make today amazing. Conclusion. The next step is yours. Now, take a deep breath. Think about everything we've talked about. The power of change. The strength you've built through struggle. The decisions that shape your future. The truth that success belongs to those who keep moving. This is your moment. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Right now. What will you do with it? because the future is unwritten and the pen is in your hands. Final call to action. Stand up and step forward. If this message spoke to you, if something inside of you is stirring, don't ignore it. That's your soul telling you it's time. It's time to stand up. It's time to move forward. It's time to become everything you were meant to be. So go. Make today amazing. Make your life something unforgettable, because the world needs you, and your story is just getting started. Why this works. Uses simple, fourth grade language that everyone can understand. Engages U.S. audiences with relatable figures, Michael Jordan, Oprah, Steve Jobs, etc. Encourages action and transformation. Provides real-life examples to inspire change. Reinforces key messages so they stick. Stand your ground and rise. There's a quote from Abraham Lincoln that goes, "Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm." Powerful, right? I heard something recently that made me think about this in a whole new way. I was listening to a podcast, Hardcore History by Dan Carlin, an incredible storyteller. In one episode, he talked about the Battle of Thermopylae, the famous story where King Leonidas and his 300 Spartans stood against a massive Persian army. The Persian king Xerxes told the Spartans, "Lay down your weapons and you will be free to go." He was giving them a way out, an easy escape. But the Spartans had only one answer, Molin Labe, which means, come and take them. That line stuck with me, because life does the same thing to us, doesn't it? Life will tell you to back down, to quit, to settle. It will say, give up your dreams. It's easier. It's safer. It will pressure you to lower your standards, let go of your values, accept less. And sometimes it feels like the whole world is against you, like an army marching straight toward you. But here's the truth. You don't have to surrender. Think about Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor. He lost everything, his home, his freedom, his family. But he discovered something incredible. No one could take away his ability to choose how he responded. He said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. You may not control what happens to you, but you always control how you react. That is your power. That is your freedom. And no one, no boss, no setback, no failure, no rejection can take that from you unless you let them. So, when life tells you surrender, when the pressure feels unbearable, when the world demands that you let go of your dreams, your passion, your fire, stand your ground, look life in the eye, and say, come and take it. New version. The extra mile. Why winners keep going. In 2011, I hurt my arm. Badly. I had surgery. And for a while, I couldn't do much with my upper body. That's when I fell in love with running. I started running almost every day. Sometimes outside to clear my mind. Sometimes on a treadmill to push myself harder. And I had this weird little habit. At the end of every workout, I would always add 22 extra seconds. Why? I don't even remember when I started doing it. But that 22 seconds became something special. It was my personal challenge. My way of saying, I always have more to give. And here's what I realized. Life is just like that treadmill. Most people stop the second they see the finish line. They slow down when they get tired. They quit when things get hard. But the ones who win, they go one step further. They run past the finish line. They give just a little more when everyone else stops. Think about the greatest athletes, the biggest success stories, the people we admire most. They're not the ones who stopped at good enough. They're the ones who found an extra 22 seconds in them when nobody else did. That's what separates those who dream from those who achieve. So, next time you feel tired, next time you feel like quitting, next time life tells you you're done, look in the eye and say, I've got 22 more seconds in me, and then run, because that's where greatness lives. Right past the moment you thought you had nothing left. Final thoughts. Both versions keep that deep motivational energy, but are simpler and more engaging for a broad audience. The first one keeps the original theme of standing your ground and not giving up your values, while the second one adds a twist, focusing on going beyond limits and finding that extra push within yourself. The extra 22 seconds. How to push past your limits and transform your life. Introduction. The power of just a little more. Let me start by asking you something. Have you ever quit when you were just one step away? One step away from a breakthrough. One step away from greatness. One step away from becoming someone you never thought you could be. Most of us have, and we don't even realize it. We think we hit our limit, but in reality, we always have 22 more seconds in us. It's that final push, that last rep in the gym, the extra page in a book, the extra minute spent working when you're tired. That small stretch, just 22 more seconds, is where real growth happens. And today, I want to show you how pushing past your limits, just a little, can change your life forever. Part 1. The invisible wall between you and success. We all have a mental wall in our minds. I can't run any further. I can't study any longer. I can't push myself more. But guess what? That wall isn't real. Your mind puts it there to keep you comfortable. Your body wants to stop before it needs to stop. But here's the truth. Your limit is a lie. Scientists found that when runners feel completely exhausted, they still have 60% of their energy left. When your brain says, I can't do this anymore, you actually have plenty more to give. Your mind tricks you. And that's why most people never push further. But here's the catch. Winners, champions, and game changers push past that wall. They go just 22 seconds further than the voice in their head says they can. Part 2. The 22-second rule. How small efforts lead to massive success. You don't need hours of extra effort. You don't need to be the strongest, smartest, or most talented person in the room. All you need is 22 more seconds. Just a little more every single day. Michael Jordan didn't become great by shooting 1,000 baskets in a day. He became great because he did one extra shot when everyone else went home. Elon Musk didn't build Tesla overnight. He simply worked a little longer and a little harder than the average person every day. Oprah Winfrey didn't get where she is by luck. She simply kept going when others gave up. That's the difference. Not talent, not luck, just pushing a little further. Part 3. My own story when I forgot to push further. Let me tell you a personal story. I always saw myself as someone who works hard, fights, and never gives up. But one time in my life, I lost that fire. I had mentors. I had people telling me to chase money instead of passion. So I did. I moved into a big, expensive condo by the beach. I focused on making money, impressing clients. But I was miserable. I lost my hunger. I wasn't fighting for those extra 22 seconds anymore. And I knew something was wrong. I had to make a change. So I broke the lease, left a fancy life, packed everything in my car, and went on a 3-month journey to realign myself. That's when I realized something. When you're in the wrong game, you don't feel like fighting. If you're not chasing something that excites you, you'll never push past your limits. And that's why some people never succeed. It's not because they aren't smart or strong. It's because they aren't playing the right game. Part 4. Find your real goal and the pain won't matter. Think about something for a second. What's a goal you really want? I mean really want, deep down, something that excites you, something that lights you up inside. Because when you want something bad enough, the pain won't matter. A mother doesn't give up on her crying baby at 3 a.m. An athlete doesn't quit in the final second of the game. A dreamer doesn't stop chasing their dream because of a little failure. Why? Because they are fighting for something that matters. You need to find your why. Because when your purpose is strong, your pain becomes small. Part 5. You are more powerful than you think. I want you to look back at your life. Think of a time when you thought you had nothing left, but still kept going. Maybe it was a tough exam, but you passed. Maybe it was a painful breakup, but you healed. Maybe it was a job loss, but you found something better. You've already pushed through pain before. So what makes you think you can't do it now? You are stronger than you know. You are smarter than you believe. You are more capable than you think. And you always have 22 more seconds in you. Part 6. The challenge. Will you push this a little more? So here's my challenge for you. For the next 30 days, I want you to push a little further. If you work out, do one more rep. If you're studying, read one more page. If you're working on a goal, spend 5 more minutes on it. Just a little extra, every single day, and watch how your life changes. Because growth doesn't come from huge leaps. It comes from small, daily pushes. And if you do this, you will look back in 6 months and barely recognize yourself. Closing. You were made to break limits. Listen, you weren't born to live small. You were meant to stop at the first sign of struggle. You were built to grow, stretch, and push past your limits. And now you know the truth. You always have one more push in you. You always have 22 more seconds in you. And those 22 seconds can change your entire life. So don't stop now. Don't quit when you're tired. Don't give up when it hurts. Push a little further. Hold on a little longer. And watch yourself transform. Your best self is waiting for you. So go get it. Your new beginning starts now. Right now, draw a line. Not just any line, but the most important one of your life. This line separates who you were from who you are becoming. It marks the past behind you and the present moment in front of you. It's your chance to start fresh, to rise above, to rewrite the story. See, we all have this invisible voice in our heads, one that limits us. It tells us, you failed yesterday, so you'll probably fail today. You didn't reach your goal before, so maybe you should lower your expectations. This voice builds a comfortable little box and says, stay here, it's safe. But that voice is scared. It's terrified that you'll wake up and realize the truth, that you are not your past, that you are capable of so much more. The second you decide that yesterday doesn't define you, you break free. You become unstoppable. Wake up to your power. Imagine waking up every morning without limits, without the weight of your past mistakes holding you down. Because here's the truth. You are not here to just exist. You are here to explore, to challenge yourself, to create, to grow. Maybe you spent years listening to doubts from others, doubts in your own mind. Maybe you followed the rules and done what was expected of you. What if today, right now, you let go of that old story? What if you stopped asking for permission to be great? What if, instead of doubting yourself, you finally believe in the person you were meant to be? Because deep down, you know this. You are made for more. Write a new story. Think of your life as a book. Each day is a blank page. You do not have to continue the old chapter. You do not have to keep repeating the same story. Today, you can start fresh. You can create something new. You can choose to step into your full potential. The world doesn't decide who you are. You do. So, the question is, what will you write? Will it be another day of settling? Or will it be the day you finally take control? Because here's the secret. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to hand you the life you want. You have to go get it. No more excuses. Too many people spend their lives blaming. Blaming their past, blaming their circumstances, blaming others. But here's the harsh truth. Blame is easy. Growth is hard. Making excuses feels good in the moment. Taking responsibility changes your life. The people who win in life are the ones who stop pointing fingers and start taking control. Yes, life is unfair. Some people start with more. Some people have it easier. But where you start does not determine where you finish. What happens next is on you. Are you going to keep making excuses? Or are you going to step up and create the life you want? Rise up and take action. There will be tough days. Days when you feel stuck. Days when the world feels against you. But those are the moments that define you. Those are the moments when you have a choice. Stay down or rise up. Complain or take action. Settle or push forward. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that everything, the pain, the struggles, the setbacks, was all preparing you for this moment to take back your power. So, take a deep breath, lift your head high, step forward with confidence. The future is waiting for you. The question is, are you ready? Hedonism, the pursuit of pleasure or a path to wisdom. Have you ever asked yourself, what is the purpose of life? For thousands of years, philosophers have wrestled with this question. Some have argued that virtue and wisdom lead to the best life, while others acclaim that the answer is much simpler: pleasure. This is the heart of hedonism, a philosophy that says the ultimate goal of life is to seek pleasure and avoid pain. But does that mean indulging in endless luxury, food, and entertainment? Not quite. Let's dive deeper. The two faces of hedonism. Hedonism has existed for thousands of years, but it has taken two very different forms. 1. Cyrenaic hedonism, instant gratification. The first school of hedonism was founded by Aristippus of Cyrene, a student of Socrates. He believed in maximizing pleasure right now. According to Aristippus, if you have a chance to enjoy yourself, you should take it, because life is uncertain and tomorrow is never promised. For Aristippus, pleasure was mostly physical and immediate. He encouraged people to enjoy fine food, wine, and all the luxuries life has to offer. However, critics of Cyrenaic hedonism argue that this approach can lead to short-term happiness but long-term problems, like addiction, regret, or loss of self-control. 2. Epicurean hedonism, long-term happiness. A few centuries later, Epicurus introduced a different kind of hedonism. He agreed that pleasure is the goal of life, but he believed the best pleasures are not physical indulgences. They are peace of mind, freedom from fear, and strong friendships. Epicurus lived a simple life, teaching that too much indulgence leads to suffering. Instead of chasing every desire, he focused on moderation and finding happiness in small, sustainable pleasures like good conversations, nature, and personal growth. This form of hedonism teaches that true happiness comes from balance, wisdom, and self-control. Hedonism in today's world. Hedonism isn't just ancient history, it's everywhere today. Think about how people live their lives. The Cyrenaic hedonist, chasing after money, fame, fast cars, and expensive parties. The Epicurean hedonist, enjoying the simple things, avoiding stress, and focusing on meaningful relationships. Which approach sounds better? Modern research suggests that Epicurean hedonism leads to a happier, healthier life. People who chase constant pleasure often feel empty, while those who appreciate small joys tend to have less stress, better relationships, and a deeper sense of fulfillment. Conclusion: what's your philosophy? At the end of the day, hedonism isn't just about pleasure. It's about choosing the right kind of pleasure. Do you want a life filled with temporary highs and deep lows, or one built on lasting happiness and inner peace? What do you think? Is pleasure the ultimate goal of life, or is there something more? Let me know in the comments. Hedonism, the pursuit of pleasure or a path to wisdom? Extended, the age-old question. Have you ever wondered what life's purpose really is? We all face that question at different points in our lives. It's one that philosophers have been grappling with for centuries. Some say that the purpose of life is to achieve virtue and wisdom, while others claim it's simpler, to seek pleasure. The ancient philosophy of hedonism proposes just that. The belief that pleasure in all its forms is the ultimate goal of human existence. But does that mean we should indulge in anything and everything that gives us a quick high? Or is there a deeper, more balanced approach to finding joy? In this extended exploration, we'll dig deeper into the two main schools of hedonism, its relevance in the modern world, and how it can help us live more meaningful lives. Hedonism, a philosophy of pleasure. Hedonism, from the Greek word hedon meaning pleasure, teaches that the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain should guide our decisions. But what does pleasure mean? Is it a fleeting indulgence, or is it about achieving lasting happiness and contentment? To understand hedonism better, we must look back to its two key historical proponents, Aristippus of Cyrene and Epicurus. Part 1. The Cyrenaic school, hedonism in the moment. The first significant school of hedonism came from Aristippus of Cyrene, who studied under famous philosopher Socrates. Aristippus believed that pleasure, especially physical pleasure, was the highest good. In his view, pleasure was immediate, and one should indulge in it while it's available. If it felt good, it was good. The philosophy of instant gratification. Aristippus and his followers didn't believe in delayed gratification or long-term planning. When it came to pleasure, their motto could have been, live in the moment. They believed that instant gratification, whether through fine food, luxurious living, or sensual pleasures, was the right path to happiness. For Aristippus, life was uncertain, and you should seize joy when you can. Example, Imagine a dinner party with fine wine and gourmet food. The Cyrenaic hedonist wouldn't worry about calories, costs, or consequences. Instead, they'd focus on enjoying the present moment to the fullest. Criticism of Cyrenaic hedonism. While Aristippus advocated for seeking pleasure without hesitation, this kind of hedonism is often criticized for being short-sighted. Critics argue that constantly seeking short-term pleasures can lead to addiction, emptiness, or regret in the long run. For example, excessive drinking or spending might feel good in the moment, but it can lead to negative consequences later on. Thus, while instant pleasure can provide temporary satisfaction, it might not bring true, lasting happiness. Part 2. Epicurean hedonism. Pleasure through moderation. While Cyrenaic hedonism focused on indulging in immediate pleasures, Epicurus introduced a more moderate approach. Epicurus, an ancient Greek philosopher, argued that the pursuit of pleasure should be aligned with wisdom, moderation, and the avoidance of excess. Pleasure as freedom from pain. Epicurus redefined pleasure not as indulgence, but as the absence of pain and mental distress. He taught that the best pleasures in life aren't found in physical indulgence, but in finding peace of mind, emotional well-being, and simple joys. Example: instead of seeking constant excitement through partying or luxury, an Epicurean might find pleasure in a quiet afternoon with a close friend, a good book, or enjoying nature, things that contribute to lasting peace and contentment. The pursuit of simplicity and wisdom. Epicurus' philosophy is centered on the idea of simple pleasures. For him, the good life was one in which people sought tranquility, avoiding the pain that comes from fears, anxieties, and excessive desires. He believed that by reducing our desires and living simply, we could attain a state of peace and satisfaction that transcended momentary indulgence. Example: instead of buying the latest gadget or indulging in lavish vacations, an Epicurean might focus on cultivating deep friendships, wise decision-making, and spending time on activities that nurture mental clarity. Activities like meditation, enjoying a walk, or reflecting on life's simple pleasures. Criticism of Epicurean hedonism. While Epicurus' version of hedonism provides a more sustainable approach, some critics argue that it might be too cautious or too ascetic for those who seek vibrant or exciting experiences in life. They believe that focusing on simplicity might deprive individuals of fuller experience of the pleasures life has to offer. But even Epicureans wouldn't suggest completely eliminating excitement. They simply recommend balance. Part 3. Hedonism today, a modern take. Fast forward to today, and you'll see hedonism reflected in many aspects of modern culture. From social media to consumerism, many aspects of our daily lives encourage the pursuit of pleasure, whether through instant gratification, like scrolling through Instagram, or the desire for long-term happiness, like finding fulfilling careers and relationships. However, as we navigate the modern world, we must ask, which kind of hedonism are we pursuing? Cyrenaic hedonism in modern times. Think of the countless advertisements, social media influencers, and reality shows that glorify indulgence, self-gratification, and instant pleasure. The fast food industry, online shopping, and the entertainment sector all promote a lifestyle that's about living for the moment, getting the most pleasure out of each second. Epicurean hedonism in modern times. On the other hand, there are growing movements towards minimalism, mindfulness, and well-being. People today are focusing more on mental health, sustainable living, and finding pleasure in small, meaningful moments. Epicureanism resonates with many who seek balance, and who realize that true happiness is often found in simplicity rather than excess. Part 4. Integrating hedonism into your life. Finding your balance. So, how can we apply the teachings of hedonism to our own lives in a way that brings us lasting happiness? It's all about finding balance. Here's how you can integrate both schools of hedonism into your daily routine. 1. Practice mindful indulgence. While we shouldn't abandon pleasure, it's important to do so with intention. Try to enjoy small indulgences, like a piece of chocolate or a glass of wine, without guilt, while also maintaining self-control. 2. Seek simplicity. Embrace the wisdom of Epicurus by enjoying life's simple pleasures. A quiet afternoon, time with loved ones, or connecting with nature. 3. Avoid excess. Remember that balance is key. Pursuing endless pleasure or living for the moment can be exhausting. So try to focus on things that bring long-term happiness, like healthy habits, deep relationships, and personal growth. The power of one step forward. Transform your life. Sometimes, the biggest opportunities in our lives are hidden in plain sight. They're not flashy, and they don't come wrapped in gold. In fact, they often appear as challenges or struggles, like obstacles we have to overcome. But that's exactly why they're so valuable. The key to changing your life isn't waiting for everything to be perfect. It's about moving forward, even when things aren't clear. What's powerful about the smallest step forward is this. It shows you're still in the game. When life gets tough, it's easy to feel stuck. But taking one small action, even if it's just getting out of bed, means you're still moving, still trying, and that's where the magic happens. Think about it. Imagine you're in a storm. It's pouring rain. The wind is howling, and you can't see 2 steps in front of you. But instead of staying put and waiting for the storm to pass, you take one small step. That's all you need. Why? Because it's not about having everything figured out. It's about believing that what you already have, your skills, your energy, your resilience, is enough. And when you remind yourself of that, you tap into your inner strength. The story of Iris, finding greatness in the dark. Let me tell you a story about a song that changed my life. It was released in 1998 by a band called Goo Goo Dolls, and the song is called Iris. Maybe you've heard it. It's a beautiful song with a raw emotional power that still gives me chills every time I hear it. But here's the thing. When Johnny Rzeznik, the lead singer, wrote that song, his life was falling apart. He had just gone through a tough divorce. His career was in shambles, and he was dealing with a bad record deal. He was stuck in a hotel room, far from his dreams, feeling lost. But he didn't quit. He picked up his guitar, with only 2 strings working, and started writing. He didn't have all the answers. He didn't have a fancy studio or a team of experts. All he had was what he had in that moment, and he made something incredible out of it. You know what's amazing? When he wrote the song, he didn't have a full idea of where it was going, but in the end, it became a masterpiece. He wasn't waiting for things to be perfect. He just kept moving one step at a time, and the result was something beautiful that changed millions of lives. The power of moving forward with what you have. Johnny didn't wait for his life to get better to create Iris. He didn't have the perfect tools or situation, but he used what he had. And that's the key to transformation in your life too. When you feel overwhelmed or unsure, remember, you don't need everything to be perfect. Just move forward with what you have. Whether you're dealing with personal struggles, work stress, or even feeling like you're not enough, one small step can change everything. You don't have to wait for things to align perfectly. Just take that first step. Shifting your mindset from can I do this to how can I do this? Have you ever asked yourself, can I do this? I used to ask myself that all the time, especially when things seemed impossible. And you know what? When you focus on can I do this, everything around you starts to confirm your doubts. You see every obstacle as a sign that you can't move forward. But there's another way to look at it. Instead of asking, can I do this? Try asking yourself, how can I do this? When you shift your question, you shift your entire mindset. You stop looking at challenges as roadblocks and start seeing them as puzzles waiting to be solved. Your life is a puzzle, and you're the one putting it together. Life is like a puzzle. Sometimes the pieces don't seem to fit right. Sometimes things don't make sense. But that's okay. Life isn't meant to be perfect. It's about putting one piece together at a time. And guess what? You have all the pieces you need already. You have the skills, the drive, the creativity, and the will to make things happen. You just have to believe that you can create something beautiful, even when it seems like the pieces don't match up right now. Moving forward, even when you don't have all the answers. You might not have all the answers today, and that's okay. You don't need to know exactly how things will turn out, but you do need to know this. It won't stay this way. When you take action, even when you're uncertain, you give yourself a chance to change. You open the door to new opportunities. Think about Iris again. Johnny didn't have all the lyrics. He didn't have a clear vision of how the song would come together, but he kept writing. And because of that, he created something that still resonates with millions. Your story will unfold the same way. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Just keep going, step by step, and eventually, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Your journey is an adventure. Keep moving forward. Life is one big adventure. Sometimes it's tough, sometimes it's beautiful, but it's always changing. And the best part? You get to decide how you react to it. When things seem impossible, remember that every struggle you face is part of your journey. It's part of what makes you who you are. Just like Johnny, when life knocks you down, you don't have to stay down. You get back up, you keep moving, and you create something amazing from the pieces you have. Conclusion, you have what it takes. So, if you're sitting on the edge of your bed, wondering how you can keep going, remember this. You don't have to know exactly how things will turn out, but you do have to know that things won't stay the same. You have the power to change. You just have to take that first step. Your story isn't finished yet. It's just beginning. Keep going one step at a time. Keep moving forward with what you have. And just like Johnny did with Iris, you'll create something beautiful. Not because everything is perfect, but because you kept going even when things seemed impossible. Embrace the imperfections. Make something beautiful out of the pieces. Sometimes, life doesn't give us what we expect, or even what we think we deserve. But you know what? That's okay. Because when things are broken, we have the power to create something new, something beautiful from it. Think about the world's most famous artists, athletes, or inventors. They didn't succeed because everything was perfect from the start. No, they succeeded because they kept going, despite all the failures, rejections, and setbacks. They used what they had in that moment, and they made something incredible. You might not have all the resources or support you need right now, but what if what you have is enough? What if the pieces you're holding, no matter how broken or incomplete they seem, are exactly what you need to build your future? The hero within you, it's already there. You just have to believe. Every person has a hero inside them. You might not see it right now, especially when things are tough. But trust me, it's there. Your ability to create, to push forward, to transform your life. It's all inside you. You don't need anyone to tell you how strong you are. You just have to believe it yourself. It's easy to get caught up in thinking that some people are born lucky or that they have something you don't. But the truth is, every successful person had to face their own challenges. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They took what they had in their current situation and they turned it into something extraordinary. You don't need to wait for the stars to align. All you need is the will to take that first step, and then the second one, and the next after that, one step at a time. And soon, you'll look back and see how much you've grown. Keep asking the right questions. The power of curiosity. One of the most powerful things you can do for yourself is ask the right questions. For example, instead of saying, "Can I do this?" try asking, "How can I do this?" When you change your question, you change the way you look at life. You stop seeing obstacles as barriers and start seeing them as challenges to solve. You shift from thinking about your limits to focusing on the possibilities. And once you start thinking that way, you begin to see solutions everywhere. Asking the right question opens doors. It opens your mind to the endless ways you can approach your goals. It makes you creative, resourceful, and unstoppable. Turn setbacks into opportunities. The shift in perspective. It's so easy to get discouraged when things don't go as planned. But remember, setbacks are part of the journey. They are not the end. They are just a detour. When Johnny wrote Iris, he was facing a huge setback in his life. He didn't have everything figured out. But instead of giving up, he used his struggles, his pain, his imperfections, and turned them into something beautiful. You can do the same. Every obstacle you face is an opportunity for growth. Every struggle is a chance to build resilience, to learn, and to come out stronger. The key is to look at setbacks from a new perspective. Instead of seeing them as failures, see them as the lessons that will guide you to success. Don't let a closed door stop you. Just look for the next one to knock on. The importance of patience. Trust the process. One of the hardest things in life is being patient with the process. We all want instant results. We want success right now. But true transformation takes time. It's a journey, not a sprint. In the beginning, things might not make sense. You might not see immediate rewards. But every step you take, no matter how small, is moving you closer to your goal. Trust the process. Johnny didn't write Iris in one night. It took time, effort, and persistence. And even after all the challenges, the song became something beautiful. You might not see the results right away, but that doesn't mean you're not on the right path. Every day is a new beginning. Don't be afraid to start again. Life will knock you down. You will face failures, rejections, and moments when you feel like giving up. But here's the good news. You get to start again. Every single day is a new opportunity to begin fresh. If today didn't go as planned, tomorrow is a chance to try again. It's never too late to start over, to pick up the pieces, and keep moving forward. Your journey isn't over yet. The best chapters are still ahead. So, if you're feeling stuck, if you're wondering how to keep going, just remember, you have the power to begin again. You have the strength to push forward, no matter how many times you fall. Your story isn't finished. It's just getting started. Conclusion: you are the author of your own story. At the end of the day, you are the author of your own story. Life will throw challenges your way, but you decide how you respond. You decide whether to keep going or give up. And the amazing thing is, you have everything you need right now to keep moving forward. So take that first step, even if it's small, even if it's uncertain. Just move forward with what you have and trust that you're creating something incredible. Your story is yours to write. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for things to be easy. Use the pieces you have right now and make something beautiful. Just keep moving forward one step at a time and watch how your life transforms. Conclusion: a path to wisdom and pleasure. Hedonism, at its core, is about the pursuit of pleasure and happiness. However, it teaches us that not all pleasures are equal. By learning from both Cyrenaic hedonism and Epicurean hedonism, we can create a life that blends joy, moderation, and meaning, not by chasing endless indulgences, but by seeking wisdom and balance in the pleasures we pursue. What's your philosophy? Are you more of a Cyrenaic hedonist, embracing the pleasures of the present moment, or do you lean toward Epicurean hedonism, seeking peace through simplicity and wisdom? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and share how you live your own pursuit of happiness. The power of mindset, unleashing your full potential. Imagine waking up every day with a deep sense of purpose, knowing that you have the power to shape your reality. Imagine breaking free from limitations, stepping into your greatness, and refusing to settle for less. But here's the truth. Most people live their lives trapped in the same patterns, stuck in a loop of fear, self-doubt, and mediocrity. They let circumstances define them. They let their past dictate their future. But not you, not today. Because today you make a decision to rise, a decision to transform, a decision to claim the life that is rightfully yours. You are not here to be average. You are not here to just exist. You are here to dominate, to elevate, to become the highest version of yourself. But to do that, you must first master your mindset, the battlefield of the mind. Everything starts in your mind. Every success, every failure, every breakthrough, it all begins with thought. If you think you are weak, you will act weak. If you believe you are unstoppable, nothing can stand in your way. Your reality is simply a reflection of your mindset. Most people don't fail because they're not capable. They fail because they believe they're not capable. The moment you decide that nothing is impossible, you shift from a victim to a warrior. Discipline over motivation. Motivation is fleeting. One day it's there, the next day it's gone. If you rely on motivation, you will quit when things get tough. That's why you need discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is waking up early, putting in the work, staying consistent, and refusing to quit. Success is not about talent. It's about consistency. Those who win are not the most gifted, but the most relentless. Pain is the price of greatness. There is no growth without struggle, no success without sacrifice, no greatness without pain. Most people run from pain. They avoid discomfort. They stay in their comfort zones, afraid to take risks. But champions, they embrace the struggle. Every failure is a lesson. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every obstacle is an opportunity to prove how bad you want it. When you feel like quitting, remember why you started. When you feel weak, remind yourself of your purpose. When life knocks you down, get up and keep fighting. The choice is yours. Right now, in this very moment, you have a choice. You can either keep making excuses, staying stuck in the same cycle, watching your dreams slip away, or you can take control. You can make the decision to become the person you were meant to be. Nobody is going to save you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. It's all on you. The question is, how bad do you want it? Hey, if you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps out the channel and lets you know when I upload more content like this. Now, let's get back to the video. Why most people remain stuck in mediocrity. The decision that changes everything. Part 1. The battlefield of the mind. How thoughts shape reality. The science of belief in self-fulfilling prophecies. Story of someone who transformed their life through mindset shifts, e.g. Oprah Winfrey, David Goggins, Elon Musk. Action step. Daily affirmations and mental reprogramming techniques. Part 2. Discipline over motivation, 10 minutes. Why motivation is unreliable. The role of habits and routines in success. Examples of disciplined individuals, e.g. Kobe Bryant's work ethic, Jocko Willink's 4 a.m. discipline. Action step. Creating a daily routine for success. Part 3. Pain is the price of greatness, 10 minutes. How struggle and failure build resilience. Personal development through adversity. Examples of great individuals who use pain as fuel, e.g. Steve Jobs' rejection, Michael Jordan being cut from his team. Action step. Reframing failure as feedback. Part 4. Eliminating excuses, 10 minutes. The lies we tell ourselves that keep us stuck. How to take full responsibility for life's outcomes. The no more excuses mindset shift. Action step. Identifying and eliminating limiting beliefs. Part 5. The power of relentless action, 10 minutes. Why small, consistent actions lead to massive success. The compound effect in personal growth. Example, the 1% rule, improving just 1% daily. Action step, setting micro goals for continuous progress. Conclusion, the choice is yours, 5 minutes. Reflecting on everything discussed. The question that changes everything. How bad do you want it? Final motivational push to take action today. The choice is yours. A motivational speech. Introduction. The power of mindset, 5 minutes. Pause for a few seconds. Let the silence create anticipation. Today, I'm here to talk about something that can change your life forever. A single decision. A decision to stop making excuses. A decision to stop waiting for the perfect moment. A decision to finally take control of your life. Most people live their lives on autopilot. They wake up, go to work, complain about their problems, and go to bed only to repeat the same cycle tomorrow. And they wonder why nothing changes. The truth is, nothing changes until you change. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect circumstances. You need to decide, right here, right now, that you are in control of your life. Because the difference between successful people and those who remain stuck is simple. Successful people understand that life is a battlefield of the mind. Part 1. The battlefield of the mind, 10 minutes. Every single outcome in your life, your health, your career, your relationships, begins with one thing. Your thoughts. Your thoughts shape your actions. Your actions shape your habits. Your habits shape your destiny. Think about this. Two people face the same challenge. One says, I can't do this. The other says, I will find a way. Who do you think will win? The mind is like a garden. If you plant weeds of negativity, self-doubt, and fear, they will grow and take over your life. But if you plant seeds of belief, resilience, and determination, you will harvest success. Look at Oprah Winfrey. She was born into poverty, faced abuse, and was told she wasn't good enough. But she refused to believe those lies. She chose to rewrite her own story. What about you? What story are you telling yourself? If you keep saying, I'm not smart enough, I'm not lucky, or I don't have what it takes, then guess what? You're right. But if you say, I will figure out, I will make it happen, and I will not quit, then you're right too. Your thoughts control your life, so choose them wisely. Action step. Starting today, replace every negative thought with a positive one. Write down daily affirmations and say them out loud. Your mind will believe what you consistently tell it. Part 2. Discipline over motivation, 10 minutes. Here's the hard truth. Motivation is a lie. You won't always feel motivated. You won't always feel like waking up early, working out, or pushing through challenges. And that's why most people fail. They wait until they feel like it. But successful people don't rely on feelings. They rely on discipline. Kobe Bryant didn't win 5 NBA championships because he was always motivated. He won because he was disciplined. He would wake up at 4 a.m. to practice, even when he didn't feel like it. Discipline means doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to. So let me ask you, do you wait for motivation to chase your goals? Or do you take action no matter what? Action step. Build habits that make success inevitable. Set a daily routine and stick to it, even when you don't feel like it. Part 3. Pain is the price of greatness, 10 minutes. Every great success story is built on pain, struggle, and failure. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. What if they had given up? Pain is the price you pay for greatness. The problem is, most people run away from pain. They avoid challenges, seek comfort, and stay in their little bubble. But here's what you need to understand. Pain is a gift. It's life's way of testing you, shaping you, and preparing you for the success you say you want. Instead of avoiding pain, use it. Let failure teach you. Let struggle make you stronger. Let obstacles fuel your hunger. Action step. The next time life knocks you down, don't complain. Don't quit. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Part 4. Eliminating excuses, 10 minutes. Excuses are the number one thing holding people back. I don't have enough time. I don't have the right connections. I wasn't born rich. Guess what? No one cares. The only person who can change your life is you. If you want something bad enough, you will find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. Look at Nick Vujicic. He was born without arms or legs. He could have made 1,000 excuses. Instead, he became a best-selling author, a motivational speaker, and an inspiration to millions. What's your excuse? Are you really too busy? Or are you wasting hours on social media and Netflix? Are you really not talented enough? Or are you just afraid to try? Action step. Write down every excuse you've been telling yourself. Then burn that paper. From this moment on, refuse to accept limitations. Part 5. The power of relentless action, 10 minutes. If you want a different life, you need to take different actions. And not just once, not just for a week, but every single day. Success doesn't happen overnight. It happens through relentless, consistent action. The world's most successful people are not the smartest or the luckiest. They're the ones who refuse to quit. They take action. They fail. They learn. They adjust. They try again. And eventually, they win. Imagine this. If you improve by just 1% every day in 1 year, you'll be 37 times better than you are today. But if you do nothing, you will stay the same, or worse, fall behind. Action step. Stop waiting for the perfect time. Take one small step today, then another tomorrow, and never stop. Conclusion. The choice is yours, 5 minutes. At the end of the day, it all comes down to one question. How bad do you want it? Because if you truly want something, you will find a way. If not, you will find an excuse. You are in control of your future. You hold the pen to your own story. So the choice is yours. Will you settle for a life of mediocrity? Or will you rise, take action, and create the life you were meant to live? The time for waiting is over. The time for action is now. The power of going further. Unleash your full potential. There's always a little bit more inside you. Always. More energy, more strength, more courage. But most people stop just short of it. They pull back when things get tough, when the pressure rises, when that last push feels like too much. But what if I told you that everything you want, your dreams, your success, your breakthrough, is waiting just beyond that extra push? That's where we begin. The extra 22 seconds that change everything. Picture this. You're running a race. Your legs are burning. Your breath is heavy. Everything in your body is telling you to slow down. But right before you give up, there's a choice, a small but life-changing choice. Do you stop? Or do you push for just 22 more seconds? That tiny extra effort is what separates winners from those who almost made it. That extra effort is what puts you in a league of your own. And here's what most people don't realize. That extra 22 seconds is always there. It's there when you're chasing your dreams. It's there when you're facing challenges. It's there when you feel like quitting. And it's up to you to claim it. Why do we hold back? But if we know we have more inside us, why do we hold back? Why do we sometimes lose the fire to go that extra mile? I'll tell you why. It happens when we get stuck in the wrong story, a story where we stop believing in ourselves. I learned this the hard way. For years, I told myself I was playing a long game. I was willing to make sacrifices to build something bigger, something lasting. I knew success wasn't about quick wins. It was about creating something meaningful over time. But then I got distracted. I started listening to voices telling me I needed to focus on the wrong things. The flashy lifestyle, the approval of others, the money before the mission. And before I knew it, I had built a life that wasn't mine. I had success on the outside, but on the inside, I was empty. And you know what happens when you're living a life that isn't true to you? You stop fighting for that extra 22 seconds. Because why push for something that doesn't even feel right? Realigning with your true path. So I made a choice. I walked away from what wasn't mine. I stripped it all back to what really mattered. And in that process, I learned something life-changing. Your fire doesn't die. It just needs realignment. When you find yourself feeling stuck, unmotivated, or exhausted, it's not because you've lost your power. It's because you're not aiming at the right target. When you're on the wrong path, everything feels heavy. But when you realign with your true purpose, that hunger to push forward comes back stronger than ever. Your strength is bigger than you think. Let me remind you of something. You've been through battles before. You've survived things that you thought would break you. You've had moments where you thought, I can't take another step. But you did. You kept going. And because of that, you're still here. The world doesn't teach us how strong we are. It doesn't tell us that we're capable of so much more than we believe. Most people operate at 30% of their potential. Think about that. That means right now, you are living at just a fraction of what you're capable of. But what if, starting today, you reach for more? What if you stepped into your full power? What if you decided that the old limits don't apply to you anymore? Because they don't. Draw the line, who you were versus who you are now. Right here, right now, I want you to draw a line in your mind. A clear line between the past you and the present you. The old version of you, the one who hesitated, who doubted, who settled, that person is gone. The new you is ready. Ready to push beyond what you thought was possible. Ready to break the limits you once accepted. Ready to stop existing and start truly living. Life gives you what you demand. Listen to me. Life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you demand. You can either sit on the sidelines, watching others chase their dreams, or you can step onto the field and take control of your own destiny. You have one life, one shot. So what are you going to do with it? Are you going to sit back and let life happen to you? Or are you going to grab the pen and start writing your own story? The final push. So here's my challenge for you. Right now, in this moment, make a decision. Decide that from this day forward, you will always reach for that extra 22 seconds. Decide that you will push beyond what's comfortable. Decide that you will stop accepting less than your full potential. Because the truth is, you are stronger than you think. You are capable of more than you know. And if you keep pushing forward, if you keep chasing those extra seconds, one day you look back and realize you didn't just break your limits. You shattered them. And that changes everything. So go further, push harder, and show the world what you're made of. because this is your time. Make it count. Imagine walking on stage with a warm smile and energy. Everyone, I want you to take a deep breath in and let it out. Feels good, right? Now, I have a simple but powerful question for you. What if I told you that the life you're living right now is shaped by the thoughts in your mind? Would you believe me? Let it sink in. You see, our thoughts are like the captain of a ship. If the captain says, we're going to success, the ship moves in that direction. But if the captain says, I'm stuck, I'm not good enough, guess what? The ship stays right where it is. Or worse, crashes into the rocks. Today, I want to show you how changing the way you think can change everything in your life. Your happiness, your success, and even the people around you. Ready? Let's dive in. The power of thoughts. Let's do a little experiment. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your favorite food. Smell it. Taste it. Now open your eyes. Did you feel that? Your body reacted to something that wasn't even real. That's the power of your mind. Our thoughts create feelings. Feelings create actions. And actions create our life. Think about a person who always complains. Life is unfair. Nothing ever works for me. What do you think happens to them? They prove themselves right. Now, think of someone who says, I'll find a way. I always do. They also prove themselves right. Your thoughts are the secret to your reality. Breaking free from negative thinking. Now, I know what you're thinking, but life is hard. Bad things happen. And you're right. But here's the trick. You don't have to be controlled by what happens to you. You can choose how you respond. Imagine two people lose their jobs. One says, I'm doomed. I'll never find another job. The other says, this is a chance to do something better. Who do you think will move forward faster? The secret is awareness. The next time you catch yourself thinking negatively, stop. Challenge that thought. Ask yourself, is this really true? Or am I just stuck in fear? Replace it with something better. The power of gratitude. Let's do another quick exercise. Think of 3 things you're grateful for right now. Big or small, your health, your family, even the fact that you're here today. Gratitude is like magic. It turns what we have into enough and attracts more good things. The most successful, happiest people practice gratitude daily. Taking action, your challenge. Now, here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to 1. Catch negative thoughts. 2. Replace them with something better. 3. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Do this, and I promise you, your life will start to shift. Small steps create big change. Closing. I'll leave you with this. Your mind is the most powerful tool you own. Use it wisely. Believe in yourself. Speak with confidence. And choose to see opportunities, not obstacles. Now, go out there and create the life you deserve. Who's ready to take control of their thoughts? Let me hear you. Pause for cheers. Thank you. Analysis of the original speech. 1. Core message. The power of persistence, making something out of nothing and embracing challenges as opportunities. 2. Key themes. Small steps lead to big transformations. Hidden opportunities exist within difficulty. Creativity and resilience can turn pain into something meaningful. The power of asking the right questions. Life is an adventure that constantly tests and shapes us. 3. Strengths. Engaging storytelling. The Iris song story makes the lesson tangible. Motivational and relatable. Everyone faces struggles, making this message universal. Simple yet profound. Uses everyday examples to explain deep concepts. 4. Areas to improve. Simplify the language for broader accessibility. Add more interactive moments, questions, exercises. Introduce a stronger call to action to encourage real change. New motivational speech. Turning life's struggles into your greatest strength. Opening. Setting the stage. Imagine standing confidently, looking at the audience with a knowing smile. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt stuck? Like you were standing in the middle of a storm, unsure where to go. Pause, let them think. We all have. But let me tell you something powerful. Your struggles are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones. Some of the greatest things in life come from the moments that feel the hardest. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to take those hard moments and turn them into something incredible. Story: The Hidden Power in Struggles. There's a song that changed my life. Maybe you've heard of it. Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls. But here's what you might not know. That song was born from pain. The lead singer, Johnny Rzeznik, was at rock bottom, heartbroken, broke, and stuck. He was supposed to write a song for a movie, but he had nothing, just 2 broken guitar strings and a few words scribbled down. But he showed up anyway. And from those scraps, he built something that touched millions. That's what I want you to understand today. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need the perfect plan. You just need to take the first step. Lesson 1. Small steps change everything. The most important thing you can do in life, just keep moving, even if it's small. Think about this. If you move just 1% forward every day in 1 year, you'll be 37 times better than you were before, just by taking small steps. So when you feel overwhelmed, don't focus on the whole mountain. Just focus on the next step. Maybe that's applying for that job, even if you're scared. Maybe it's finally starting that business you've been dreaming of. Maybe it's just getting out of bed and choosing to try again. One step can change your whole life. Lesson 2. The power of perspective. Have you ever noticed that when you focus on problems, you find more problems? But when you focus on solutions, you find answers. The questions you ask yourself shape your life. If you ask, why does this always happen to me? You'll find proof that life is unfair. But if you ask, how can I make this work? Your brain will start searching for a way. It's the same situation, but a different outcome, just by changing your perspective. So starting today, change your question. Instead of asking, can I do this? Ask, how will I do this? Lesson 3. Turning pain into power. Let's talk about something real. Pain. We all go through it. Loss, rejection, failure. But here's something most people don't realize. Your pain is your power. Think about every great movie you've ever seen. The hero always struggles before they win. Why? Because struggle builds strength. If you've been through hard times, it means you have the tools to help someone else. It means you're learning, growing, becoming stronger. The pain you're feeling today could be the reason someone thanks you tomorrow. Use it. Don't let it break you, let it build you. Lesson 4. Gratitude is a superpower. I want you to try something right now. Close your eyes. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your family. Maybe it's just the fact that you're here, right now, listening to this. Gratitude is like a magnet for good things. The more you focus on what's good, the more good things come your way. So every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. It sounds simple, but it will change your life. Final lesson. The adventure of life. Life is an adventure. And just like every great adventure, there will be twists and turns. Times when you want to give up. Times when you feel lost. But remember this. You are the author of your own story. And the best stories, they always have a comeback. Your next chapter is waiting for you. What will you write? So here's my challenge for you. 1. Take 1 step forward today, no matter how small. 2. Change your questions. Focus on how can I instead of can I. 3. Write down 3 things you're grateful for every day. Do this for the next 30 days. And I promise you, your life will start to change. Because you, my friend, are capable of more than you think. You just have to start. Now go out there and make something incredible. Why this version works. White heavy checkmark uses simple 4th grade English for accessibility. White heavy checkmark engaging storytelling with a fresh twist on the Iris story. White heavy checkmark interactive moments, asking questions, gratitude exercise. White heavy checkmark motivating, with clear steps people can follow. White heavy checkmark optimized for a U.S. audience, relatable examples, direct communication. Recently, I was thinking about something that really stuck with me. A friend of mine, Tom, owns a company in Oklahoma. A few years back, he told me a story that changed the way I look at life. He had hired someone, a person he trusted, but that person ended up stealing from him. When he told me what happened, my first instinct was to ask, "What are you going to do about it?" Tom paused for a moment, then, in his deep Southern accent, he said something I'll never forget. "Eddie, if a snake bites you, are you going to chase it into the woods to get revenge, or are you going to get the medical attention you need to save yourself?" That hit me hard. Tom wasn't focused on what was done to him. He was focused on what came next. He cut ties with the person, made the necessary changes, and moved forward. And that got me thinking, are we chasing snakes? How often do we waste time chasing after things that have already hurt us? We relive old arguments in our heads. We hold on to grudges. We keep playing the what-if game, thinking about all the ways we were wronged. But ask yourself, does that help? Or are we just running deeper into the woods, letting the poison spread? The truth is, life will never be free of problems. There will always be challenges, betrayals, setbacks. But the choice we have, the one thing we control, is whether we let those moments define us or whether we use them to grow. A different perspective. I once heard a powerful idea. Most of the harm people isn't out of malice, it's out of ignorance. Most of the time, people don't hurt us because they're evil. They hurt us because they're lost, broken, or just careless. When we realize that, it becomes easier to let go, not because we're weak, not because we don't care, but because we refuse to let their actions control our future. There's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "People do not seem to realize that their opinion of the world is also a confession of their character." That means the way you see the world, the way you interpret challenges, pain, and setbacks is a direct reflection of who you are inside. So, when someone wrongs you, you have two choices. Chase the snake. Let anger, resentment, and revenge consume you. Heal the bite. Take control of your own life. Focus on your future and move forward with wisdom. The story of two brothers. There's an old story about two brothers who grew up in the same abusive household. Their father was an alcoholic. Their childhood was full of pain and suffering. Years later, both of them had families of their own. One brother became exactly like his father, angry, abusive, and bitter. The other became a kind, loving father, patient and full of warmth. When people asked the first brother why he turned out the way he did, he said, "Look at my childhood. How could I be anything else?" When they asked the second brother, he said, "Look at my childhood. How could I let my family go through the same thing?" Two people, same past, completely different futures. Because one chose to chase the snake, the other chose to heal. What's your choice? When life knocks you down, when people betray you, when things don't go your way, will you waste your time chasing snakes into the woods? Or will you stop, breathe, and take control of what comes next? Because the future is always in your hands, but only if you stop looking backward. Life is full of moments where we get to decide. Will we be the victim or the hero of our own story? Will we let our past control us, or will we use it as fuel to grow? The answer? It's up to you. Brand new script. Nothing matters, or does it? I want you to imagine something for a moment. What if nothing really mattered? Not in a negative, hopeless way, but in a freeing, empowering way. What if all the fears, all the worries, all the rules we place on ourselves were just imaginary? What if the only limits in life were the ones we accepted? The illusion of limits. A friend of mine once said to me, "Nothing matters." At first, I didn't get it. It sounded careless. But then he explained, if nothing matters, then why not take the risk? Why not chase the dream? Why not live like this is the only chance you'll ever get? And that changed something in me. Because when you realize that the things holding you back, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the doubt, are just illusions, you become free. Mark Twain once said, 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did. So why are we so scared to try? Why do we stay stuck in routines, living the same year over and over again, calling it a life? Why do we let fear make our choices for us? Think about this. What if you lived like you had nothing to lose? The balance of everything and nothing. Now, here's the twist. While nothing might matter in the grand scheme of the universe, everything matters when it comes to how we live our lives. The small choices add up. The daily habits shape our future. The effort we put in today determines where we'll be tomorrow. So while nothing might hold us back, everything we do is an opportunity to create something greater. Breaking free from the cage. We build imaginary cages around ourselves. Rules we think we have to follow. Fears we think we can't overcome. But in reality, the door has been open the whole time. The only thing stopping us is us. So what are you waiting for? Why not take the leap? Why not stop doubting yourself and just go for it? Because at the end of the day, you have nothing to lose, except the life you never dared to live. Final thought. Life is happening right now, this very second. You can keep playing it safe, waiting for the perfect moment. Or you can decide that today is the day you break free. Because when you realize that nothing is stopping you, everything becomes possible. Today is the perfect day to upgrade. I woke up this morning, made my coffee, and sat down at my desk. I opened my laptop, ready to work. But before I could start, a little notification popped up in the corner of my screen. Check for updates. I glanced at it. Not now. Ask me later. And just like that, I dismissed it. No big deal, right? It's just a computer update. But then, something hit me. How often do we do this in our own lives? We postpone growth because it's inconvenient. We avoid change because it's uncomfortable. We tell ourselves, not now, maybe later. But later becomes tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes someday. And someday becomes never. The comfort zone is a lie. Let's be honest. Staying the same feels safe. It's easy. It doesn't hurt. But here's the truth. Nothing grows when it stays the same. Think about a seed. If it stays in the ground, afraid to break open, afraid to grow, it never becomes a tree. It rots. There's a story about two seeds. One decided to grow. It pushed through the soil, reached for the sun, faced storms, and grew into a tall, strong tree. The other seed was afraid. It worried about the unknown, the wind, the rain, the uncertainty. So it stayed buried, never moving. And one day, a chicken walked by and ate it. Not making a decision is still a decision. A lot of people think avoiding change is safe. But here's the twist. Doing nothing is still a choice. And that choice has consequences. Not starting that business means staying in a job you hate. Not asking for the opportunity means someone else gets it. Not trying means living with what if instead of I did it. The cost of staying the same is often greater than the cost of changing. And yet we hesitate. Why do we avoid the upgrade? Why do we resist growth? Because growth isn't comfortable. It's scary. It's uncertain. It forces us to let go of old habits, old people, old ways of thinking. But what if we stopped seeing discomfort as something to fear and started seeing it as proof that we're growing? Every successful person you admire once felt like a beginner. They felt lost. They doubted themselves. But they moved forward anyway, because they understood this. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing. The real meaning of success. I used to think success was about holding on to money, holding on to comfort, holding on to what felt familiar. But life doesn't work that way. Success is not about holding on. It's about letting go of fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of the unknown. Because on the other side of that fear is everything you've ever wanted. The world rewards action, not perfection. A lot of people wait for the perfect time. They think, I'll start when I'm ready. I'll do it when I have more money, more knowledge, more confidence. But here's the truth. You get confidence by taking action. You get experience by starting. You get success by failing, learning, and trying again. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll wait forever. Your future self is waiting. Imagine meeting the best version of yourself 5 years from now. The version of you who said yes to growth, who took the risk, who didn't let fear win. What would they say to you today? Would they thank you, or would they beg you to stop waiting? Because the only difference between who you are now and who you want to be is the decision to start. So here's my challenge to you. Right now, there's something you've been putting off. Maybe it's a dream you've ignored. Maybe it's a risk you've been afraid to take. Maybe it's a conversation you've avoided. I want you to stop waiting. Upgrade. Today. Because the cost of staying the same is too high. And on the other side of fear, that's where life begins. Brand new script. The power of one choice. Opening scene. A stadium filled with thousands of people. Loud applause. The camera zooms in on one person in the audience. Imagine this. One person in this crowd will change their life today. One person will make a decision so powerful, it will change everything. And the crazy part? That person could be you. Every great story begins with one choice. Think about your favorite movie. The hero always starts in the ordinary world. Luke Skywalker was just a farm boy. Harry Potter lived in a cupboard. Steve Jobs started in a garage. But then something happens. A moment, a decision, a choice that changes their path forever. What if today was that moment for you? What if it's not too late? Some people say, I'm too old. Others say, I missed my chance. But here's what history says. Colonel Sanders started KFC in his 60s. Oprah was fired from her first TV job. Walt Disney went bankrupt before building his empire. It's not about age. It's not about timing. It's about choosing to start. 1 year from now, imagine it's 1 year later. Two versions of you exist. One who took action today. One who kept waiting. Which version will you be? The one choice that changes everything. At the end of the day, it all comes down to this. Will you step forward or stay the same? Because everything you've ever wanted starts with one decision. And today, that decision is yours.